Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 249. We're going to be talking about a prehistoric amphibian today via fan request, and that amphibian is Koolasuchus. And so here is an artist rendition of what Koolasuchus possibly looked like. And so a lot of people remember this animal mainly in the 1999 Walking with Dinosaurs, in the episode Spirits of the Ice Forest. And so this is how Koolasuchus got to be very famous. It also had a brief appearance in Disney's Dinosaur in the beginning part of the movie. It was very brief, but anyway, yeah, Koolasuchus, kind of very well known prehistoric creature. But let's actually talk about it. Some information about Koolasuchus. The name means Kool's crocodile, uh, and the length is 9.8 feet or approximately 3 meters. Weight is 1,100 pounds. It lived 125 to 120 million years ago in the early Cretaceous period, and fossils are found in Australia, and it was described by Warren in 1997. So think about this. Walking with Dinosaurs came out in 1999, and so the series added Koolasuchus into the show because it was so brand new. It would they just thought like, okay, let's put in something that was brand new into this show, even though that this animal was probably like say year and a half to 2 years 2 years from description. That that is incredible right there. So yeah, that's actually showcasing that like the show was actually keeping up to date with like certain types of paleontology news at the time. I mean, they did that in Prehistoric Beasts as well, with the Ambulocetus showing up in the very first episode. But the thing was, Ambulocetus was described, I think, like in the early to mid 90s, whereas and it got shown in 2002 or 2001, 2003, somewhere around there. But yeah, that was actually something right there. And yeah, the Koolasuchus was actually given that same treatment. Koolasuchus was the first to get that type of treatment. So here is a map of Australia, and where I have here highlighted is the province or state where Koolasuchus fossils have been found in the province or state of Victoria. And so it's very southern Australia, right down here. It's this light green area right here. That's where the fossils are found, mainly towards the coast, where it's called Dinosaur Cove. It's pretty close to Dinosaur Cove, there where the fossils have been found. And here's a size chart of Koolasuchus compared to a modern day human. And you can see this is kind of a very large amphibian. This is not like super, super large, but it's not like say some of the really large ones that happen like say in like say the Carboniferous or even in some parts of the Permian, but it's still considered to be a large amphibian. And and this is a holotype specimen down below. This is a holotype specimen, mainly jaw fragments. That's just what we mostly have of Koolasuchus. Have there been other types of Koolasuchus fossils have been found? There have only been partial remains. It's very unclear what this animal totally looked like, but we actually can get a really good estimated guess of what it probably did look like. And so let's actually continue for more information. More information about Koolasuchus. It is a temnospondyli, so it's a temnospondyle, so an ancient amphibian. And it's part of the ancient amphibian group called the Chigudisauridae. And so this is a ancient amphibian type of group of ancient amphibians that were around from the Triassic all the way to the early Cretaceous. And Koolasuchus is the youngest temnospondyle in the fossil record. And so this is one of the last temnospondyls, or the last temnospondyl to actually show up in the fossil record. And so, yeah, temnospondyls were on their way out in the early Cretaceous. So they had their last. So Koolasuchus was their last lineage, and so that just shows that what was happening was there was a lot of changes that were happening during that kind of time. For temnospondyls just could not adapt to those types of changes, but we'll get into that later for the extinction of Koolasuchus. Anyway, it actually had large jaws with sharp serrated teeth. Koolasuchus had serrated teeth, even though they're somewhat cone shaped as well. So this animal was still a predator. It had small limbs as well. So this animal probably could get on land a little bit, but not too much. So it probably had to be in the water majority of the time. And of course, like I said before, it is a carnivore. So this is a carnivorous animal. The environment in Koolasuchus where it lived in Australia, it would have been cool and humid. There would have been 24-hour daylight summers and 24-hour total darkness winters. So where southern Australia was at that point in time in the early Cretaceous was down in the Antarctic Circle. And so in the Antarctic Circle, there would have been 24-hour sunlight, sunlight during their summers, and also be of total darkness in winters. And so Koolasuchus had to adapt in that type of environment. And so this was a very tricky environment that it lived in. But we still don't know if it did hibernate or not. It probably could, but we don't know. We need limb bones to actually showcase if it did hibernate, to showcase if the growth rings in the bones. In the environment, there would have been plenty of trees, ferns, cycads, possibly flowers, but we don't know. We don't know some of the plant fossils that much in that part of Australia. There would have been no grass, of course. There would have been plenty of rivers, lakes, and ponds. Other types of animals around in the environment: insects, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, possibly birds or non-avian dinosaurs were around at that point in time. Pterosaurs would have been around, especially during the summer. And of course, non-avian dinosaurs were around at that point in time. So predators and prey. Let's talk about the prey first. Koolasuchus would have been eating fish, some crustaceans, and of course some small dinosaurs. We seen it in Spirits of the Ice Forests episode that Koolasuchus was like feasting on Leelanasaura. Now, is it possible that Leelanasaura was around during that kind of time? It's questionable. It's questionable. Some paleontologists believe that Leelanasaura does match the rocks where was found, and it's more likely the case it probably did. But then there's some that say no, there's not a possible chance Leelanasaura was around a little bit later, and so it probably was around later. But that's still up for debate. But it's more likely the case is that most evidence is pointing to that Leelanasaura and Koolasuchus did live in the same time. And of course, the main predators that Koolasuchus had to worry about was the large theropod dinosaurs. Large theropod dinosaurs would have actually been able to feast upon Koolasuchus. And Koolasuchus had to keep an eye out for those large predatory dinosaurs. The extinction of Koolasuchus was mostly due to climate change. Rising temperatures around 120 million years ago warmed up the waters, and so that happened, and so Koolasuchus was more adapted to a little bit cooler water temperatures. And so when the water temperatures rose up, that's when Koolasuchus could not adapt to that type of change. And of course, the one thing that actually drove them out to extinction was the crocodilomorphs. The crocodilomorphs outcompeted the temnospondyls for the same food sources, and so those same food sources uh, were pretty much all for the crocodilomorphs. And so now when I say crocodilomorphs, these are animals that look like crocodiles, but they're not true crocodiles. And so these are animals that really knew how to adapt and were able to take over the temnospondyls for the food sources that was uh, feasting upon. So the fish, the crustaceans, and even some of the other types of dinosaurs. And yeah, so that's where Koolasuchus lost the battle to adapt, and the temnospondyls went extinct 120 million years ago. And so here is a world map of what the early Cretaceous looked like 120 million years ago. So right around the last time Koolasuchus was living, and where that red circle is, that's where southern parts of Australia was at. Australia was still connected to Antarctica at that point in time, and you can see Australia was in the Antarctic Circle, and so it was in the southern part of the hemisphere, southern close to the southernmost point, and that's where some of those like cold adapted types of dinosaurs were living as well. But there were some cool environments in like the northern hemisphere. But even though this was a little bit more harsher environment uh, for certain types of animals to actually live in. But of course, Koolasuchus was around in this kind of time, and it lived for 5 million years. It was around for 5 million years until it went extinct, and all thanks to the crocodilomorphs coming in to actually take over the to to compete for those same food sources and wipe out the Temnospondals. And so, yep, that's where Koolasuchus lived. And so next episode will be on September 4th, 2025, and that'll be a Q&A episode. So if you got any questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you also post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers are private conversations, so please put your questions in the comment section on any Facebook post. And also for you YouTubers out there, like the video, subscribe to the channel according to my analytics. So a lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet. So please feel free to hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button. And if you hit the like button on the video and even other types of videos, the more likes the video gets, the more likely the video gets spread out to the people interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So that's how the YouTube algorithm works. And also share the video, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also hit that notification bell so that you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out. And also if you go onto my channel, you click on the posts tab, you will actually see like posts of like say paleontology news. Recently, we've been getting some new dinosaurs that have been described, so those are on there, and I put the source on the post so that way you guys can take a look at it. And of course, I'll be doing polls every 3 days and on the post tab so that way you guys can interact in the polls. And also, I post updates on upcoming videos. And so yeah, so check that out on the post tab, and also check out the channel. And like I said before, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. Hit that bell, and also for you YouTubers out there, leave your questions in the comment section because I do read them all. All of you guys just sending me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. Give me these great questions for those Q&A episodes. So keep up the great work, and also make sure you keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram, not Twitter. I'm no longer on Twitter. Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I'll post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Threads, same thing, at dino.chris.pf. I'll post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of people around you. Notes for your younger people out there to mix the list. Your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you could have a good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. That's it for now. Now, see you guys next time.